Today on Off and on the Clock, Nez is still off gallivanting in Europe somewhere. So we had to get a true man of the people on in his absence. One, Mr. Davis Maddock. He's going to join John and I talk through some early BBM5 strategy. We also have a ton of new contests that just dropped in the Underdog lobby. We'll look into some of those specific prize and advancement structures and then naturally hop in a draft. It's Off and on the Clock with Pete, John, and guest Davis. Let's do it. All right. Normally, Davis and I are recording the Swolecast at this time at 1 p.m. Eastern on a Wednesday, but David Kitchen let the people down. And I said, Davis, fear not. We can get a three-man going on Off and on the Clock. Welcome to the show.
Very happy to be here. Look, I needed 90 minutes to fill my working afternoon, because if left to my own devices, I would be 11 tabling the Chihuahua right now. So this is a better use of my time than that.
Do you legitimately enjoy the multi tabling, or is it just it's getting you to the ends
that you want kidding? To get to? That is like as good as a dopamine for someone who doesn't do drugs or drink alcohol. That is as good as dopamine gets. I remember the Pomeranian was 20 max last year. I went into my backyard with my dogs and I entered 20 of them at a time and just sat and fired it and kept an eye on them. And
that doesn't sound enjoyable
and got it all done. No, it was. I mean, for me, that is fun. I do enjoy it, and there's a sense of satisfaction of knowing, like, yeah, you just got it all done. You know, hard day's work.
Does that sound like fun to you, John?
I mean, I'm accustomed to it for like the daily stuff. Like I'm firing 10, 15 a time at lock every night. So from that angle, yeah, but like football's a little different when you're like mining the correlation patterns and that sort of thing. And you're not just like trying to click the exact same players over and over again. Cause like I'm hyper exploitative with the daily stuff. Whereas like I'm trying to be a little more balanced with the best ball stuff. I mean, I do get the dopamine rush too, though. Like I do love it. Like it's a little throwback for me to like the old school, like 12 tabling, like ping, ping, ping all over the place. Right?
Yes.
Like to give you an example of why it like that breaks my brain, Davis, is like, I made a video. I'm like very hype on Ben Sinnott right now. I love backdoor stacking with Jaden Daniels. I know he's a target. I know he's going to get more expensive. I did 2 drafts on Best Ball Breakfast on Monday where he just went by us at like good values because I wasn't fully paying attention. Like one single draft. Like, how are you juggling all the things you want to accomplish in a draft when you're multi-table?
So that's the other thing is it's also getting in the arena. You got to get your reps in. Great shooters shoot. There's going to be some bad drafts, but you just need to be able to instantaneously, within 3 seconds, look at your screen, look at your team, and you go, I know exactly. I take Ben Sinnott here at 100% clip. I take Gus Edwards here at 100% clip. I take Jalen Warren here at 100% clip. You just need to be able to immediately look at the screen, see the 10 guys who are there. What Underdog shows 10 guys, I think, when you're mobile, and just know this is who I take here. It's all reps. It's all the repetitions.
And I will grant you, that's a little easier toward the end of the season, right? When we've all done these drafts a million times, then we can do them in your sleep. I'm still not at that point with this. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's why you got to be doing 20 drafts at a time. So
you get your reps, individual reps. So later you can multi-table. You don't you're just trial by fire. That's just scorching money.
No, this is Peter. This is 10,000 hours. I'm getting my 10,000 hours in way before you, dude, because I'm getting the reps in.
It didn't cost most our, $3 a pop to be practicing his instruments.
Yeah, but it's a great way to learn the player pool. It's a great way to learn like, oh, this is something that happens a lot in drafts. Like, when you take Mahomes in round 4, what happens? What percentage of the time do you get Worthy? What percentage of the time do you get Hollywood? Right? I think it's important to just know that stuff.
And I should also clarify for the normal human being, like Davis's brain is so broken, and like what he needs for dopamine is not regular. He's like Andre the Giant, how many beers he needs to get a buzz, right? Like we might just need like 5 or 6 beers. Andre the Giant needs like 230 racks on a plane to get a buzz. Davis needs 20 tables to feel anything in his life. So I just want everyone to know that Davis shouldn't be goals for you.
Well, I have.
You're the Wade Boggs of the Underdog platform right now, especially with that mustache.
Correct. And I also, I don't do the dailies. My DFS volume is pretty low in the summer months. I play every day, but I'm not, I'm not running the Sims for Major League Baseball slates. Like I'm just kind of vibing. So to get my gambling itch scratched, I mean that's what I'm doing right now. And for the first time ever, I maxed the big board too, which makes me I got my reps in early this year, really.
It sounds like you should be a daily bro, though, especially if you're dabbling in the redacted baseball streets.
Okay, so this is, look, this is well-worn territory. We've talked about this on the Swolecast and stuff, but like my brand is so tied in to football, like in terms, like I know this from analyzing how my tweets do. I can tweet about baseball or basketball. It's like 4,000 views, 1 retweet, 5 favorites or whatever for like a good basketball tweet. That's like, no one cares. I could win the big $10 NBA thing 5 times or whatever on Underdog in a year, and no one would care. Wouldn't help my brand, wouldn't help my business, but
I'm literally living proof of this, Davis. Like
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sitting right beside you.
You get it.
Yeah.
But winning the puppy, sure, it's $75,000, might even be less than shipping that
Substack that would get launched would be a cash cow.
Correct. There's just more people like football. Football is so popular and so ubiquitous.
No, here's the real answer though, Davis. If Underdog had a little prize chest at the end of the week for your little daily missions, and they gave you kibble bits at the end of the week for how many drafts, then you would be in there.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh. Look, I fall for the gamification hardcore.
They have it. It's just not gamified yet. It's actually
gamified,
better what we get.
Come on, Rudman.
Yeah.
I need my missions.
See, I think it's to John's point, because the Underdog, it's like a concrete rakeback program. You know the exact amount of money you're getting. DraftKings like dresses it up, sends you a thermal mug once every 6 months, but you can tell yourself that those crowns could potentially be worth more than the actual monetary value. It's like going to Chuck E. Cheese and having all of these tickets, and then you go cash it in for the Slinky, and you're like, that's all I got?
Yeah, 100%. I know it all too. That was exactly what the PokerStars model was back in the day, the glowing chest, and then you would click it and follow the trail. Exact same.
Although, DraftKings rewards, like, they do suck now. They used to be like legitimately, you could, if you were good at it and you gamed it, you could make, even as a mid-tier player, you could make a couple $1,000 a year by gaming it, even not reaching the Onyx tier or whatever. They have nuked them so hard now that it's like, I'm really just doing it out of habit. It's not even really worth doing these things anymore.
Right.
And that's the genius of the program, right? Is like they've got you because it's like you going out for your morning cigarette. It's like,
well, they just don't even care about me anymore. All they want is to sign people up for the sports book and for the casino. They do not care about a guy grinding on the DFS. They just, like, I send my DK rep an email now, and he's like, yeah, if you signed up for pick 6, like, what's going on? He does not care about it anymore. Yeah.
And that's why we play on the platform of the people. Full
correct. But I can't. So I can only play Pick'em Champions too. Like I don't even have access to the to all the peppers and everything. Although I do. Look, I'll do a Pick'em Champions every so often. I like the theory of Pick'em Champions, where theoretically you are rewarded for low owned spots, taking unders, like whatever. I think it's fun.
Yeah, the peer-to-peer aspect of it's pretty cool. I'd love to see it at scale.
It will be eventually. We're just like Underdog hasn't even turned on marketing yet, dude. It's still in beta. They haven't even signed up. They haven't even signed up China yet. Just wait for the Asian markets to be logged in.
Dude, how incredible would it be if Underdog treated like contest drops, like pack drops, and there was a limited amount of people who could get into the contest, and you lined up in a queue, and then you found out whether you got in the single entry contest. Yeah.
That would be very good.
So I think, needless to say, Davis, you are going to max enter all of these new contests that just dropped.
Probably Probably not. I mean, I'll do the single. I don't think I will max enter one of the puppies at some point. I don't know if it'll be this one. Last year what I did was I maxed all the 20 max ones, and then I believe it was the puppy 3. I was just like, you know what? My ranks are in a good place. I'm feeling good. Let's max this one. Also like a time thing. But I don't want to max this one before the schedule's out. What are we doing, NFL? What a brutal announcement.
Yeah, the best ball boys were down bad after seeing that one, right? Like, what was the traditional timestamp like years past, like May 8th-ish?
It's supposed to be tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's generally been like one of the first Thursdays in May, but it is kind of crazy that there's not just like a concrete date for it. Like the NFL draft is always that last weekend in April. Like why isn't there a concrete time for the schedule release? And then they're like, oh yeah, we'll do it in another week.
Because no one really cares other than us. No one super cares.
ESPN cares. They're going to make an absolute meal out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but they'll make an absolute meal out of it whenever it happens. Like the soonness of it really only matters to the 937 dudes who created a mnemonic device to remember the week 17 matchups.
And I do think it's like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say maybe ESPN is the ones to blame for something like this, where they're fitting it into their downside of schedule, right? Like they're going, oh, we got Knicks on Wednesday night, then we got Knicks on Friday night nationally televised. They're like, no, NFL, stay to the side. We'll fit you in when need be.
True. Yeah. I do think it is interesting from that element of time box contests and with these specifically, right? Like there is an advantage to waiting, right? Because if you wait, like the Chihuahua's going to fill right before the schedule release, but some of these will continue well into after the schedule's release, right? Like the puppy, maybe I'm being ignorant and these drafts just get snap filled, but I'm guessing the puppy will still be live after the schedule. So
yeah,
I think
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
so they both dropped at the same time. The Chihuahua's 3.7% and the puppy's 2.4%. So it is like a different fill rate because of the sizes. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. The point I think is you front load if you're trying to eke out every single bit of edge, right? You front load the ones you think are going to fill first and keep delaying your puppy entries until as close as you can get if you can squeak in some drafts with the schedule.
But in saying that, Pete, wouldn't that just mean you're a full-fledged schedule bro with BBM and you just want to push all your entries until the schedule is out for BBM?
Well, that's my thing in that you're then weighing, are there still some ADP values that you think you can get right now or have those all dried up? Like that's
and there will be combos when the schedule comes out. Like there's always like a 1-3 combo that like ends up being super common because of week 17 that maybe you're not able to get as easily. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, these are like the most micro edges you could possibly imagine. Like the size of these edges are so small that your EV in this lifetime like literally does not change. It's so minute.
The single entry one being fast only was kind of cool because if there were slows in there, I had that tweet locked and loaded that I was going to get in there and I was going to milk that clock until the window was closed. So I'd maximize my information of these 8-hour clocks. I'd be drafting well after the contest had already fully closed.
Well, and to Davis's point, like I'm working on an article for Fantasy Life this week, more just like a higher level, how to think through bankroll management and how it's nice that Underdog is like scheduling these. And I kind of drew up like a mock budget for someone who was like, hey, I have $500. How would I go about spending that? And to even compare like the Best Ball Mania thing, and we've talked about this in previous years, where if you 150 max the contest and you're a perfectly average drafter, the math says you would make the finals this year once every 8.3 years. So then like the contest, like the mini Schnauzer comes out, which is a really nice contest. It already filled obviously the $3.20 max. And then I ran the math on that. it's still once every 6 years if you 20 max that contest that you'd be expected to make the finals. So yes, that is much better than Best Ball Mania. It's 2 less years that you're going to have to wait as an average drafter. It's still going to be extremely hard, even 20 maxing it, to get a team to the finals. And I think that kind of speaks to Davis's point. Like, these micro edges are just barely inching up. Maybe it shaves off a half a year. Now you're making it to the Schnauzer finals once every 5.5 years. Yes, that's better, but it's still going to be hard.
I'm 3 years away from being 3 years away in the BBM finals right now.
That's why I just keep max entering everything, because I can't possibly get to week 17 and have no sweats on the dog app. Like, it just is it's the worst possible thing I can imagine. Is I'm the Squidward meme sitting inside the dark cave watching all my friends have fun in the various finals. I can't have that.
Well, now that you think about it in that context and like how rare it is to make the finals and stuff like that, like how annoying is it actually that Herzig, Crane, and Liam have won now?
It's insanely annoying. I can't sleep at night thinking about it.
It's Davis and I's the entire bane of our existence. What more do you want to talk about?
Like, Liam, Crane, and Herzig winning Best Ball Mania is my Roman Empire, in the sense that I think about it every day, and it also makes me really angry.
It doesn't help that Herzig redesigns the image of how many finals he's made once every 2 weeks and reposts it on Twitter to rub it in all of our faces.
And it doesn't help that the first prize money went down, so that if you ship it now, you have not even chased Karain. You're still losing to Karain lifetime, so it's not great.
Hey, good segue to remind everybody that both of them will be on the show tomorrow with the Badge Bros. There we go.
I mean, if Karain's too nice, he's out here writing fucking 10,000 words about Bolivian trees or whatever. But if Karain wanted to do the funniest thing possible by congratulating whoever wins Best Ball Mania 5 and just do the too small meme, like right next to him after it, would just be so good.
It would be good.
That would be extremely good content. Yeah.
Oh.
So pull up these contests that are in the lobby. And I know our friend John Boy Beats has been updating his sheet. He has a very proprietary score based on the things he kind of looks for, factoring in all the stuff. How nice is the advancement structure? How flat are the payouts? What is the min cash multiplier when you get to the finals? Like, various stuff like that. The puppy actually graded out the best for him of these. In the golden, kind of surprisingly, didn't grade out all that well, despite being a smaller single entry contest, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Is it just because of
the advancing stuff?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the advancing for the golden, 2 out of 12, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, and a 26 person seat final. Like, that sounds very appetizing to me. I wonder why that.
I think it's the min cash multiplier that's pulling it down. Like, if you go and look at how the prizes are distributed, that's my guess, because you look at like the min cash multiplier for the puppy is a 100x and it's a 10x in the golden. So it's just like getting there is still hard. But the payoff, you're not getting outsized, gains, even if you get there.
Right. I'll say that I really like this structure, though, despite it not grading out like effectively well, because it isn't designed to be a 150 max. It's like a binary outcome. It's like, I either have my $10 in here or I lose my $10. I like this for a single entry. The fact that like nobody cares if you come 53rd in a single entry contest that only has 5,600 people in it.
Yeah. Like, it is kind of, if you want to think about a fun sweat, like, it is kind of swingy, but you show up in a 26 person final and like 10,000 or $100. Like, that's a pretty sick sweat for a 26 person, DFS contest on a week 17.
It definitely is.
It also just feels like you're live as hell if you just make the playoffs, because 2 out of 12, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6. Like, you don't have to show up with the nuts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We got Shady in the chat saying it's also about the percentage of entries that you can own. If you're maxing a contest, that 1 out of 5K is similar to a 20 max with 100,000 total entries. And Kyle, when I say min cash multiplier, I just mean, so a min cash when you get to the finals. So like $10 on your entry, that's 10x. If you make it to the finals, you get 10x. Whereas in the puppy, You look at this here, you have a $5 entry. If you make it to the 310 person finals, you're getting $500 back. So you're getting 100x on your entry. Versus,
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't think about the min cash stuff at all. I treat every best ball dollar entered as best ball. Like, that is an expenditure. That is not an investment. That is an expenditure. Like the way that I do bookkeeping for best ball and for FFPC.
There's no way you do bookkeeping for best ball.
You think I don't plan out how much I'm going to enter and where the money's coming from and all that stuff? I definitely do.
The guy who's just blasting off 20x multi-tables is actually sketching this out from some, orchestrated
I mean, look, if I'm going to spend $15,000 a year playing fantasy football, that money can't just like evaporate. Like, I can't just have that money come out of nowhere. My base assumption every year is I'll spend between $10,000 and $15,000 and I will get about $3,000 or $5,000 of it back. Now, keep in mind, like, that's including the FFPC, where I'll never take that money out. It just rolls over into tickets for the next year. But yeah, like, I can't just come up with that money out of nowhere. I have to plan for it.
Yeah. No, and I'm giving you a hard time, but that is one of the reasons I wrote that article. And I think for people in previous years, it's been hard because Underdog would kind of just shotgun these contests, and there's this FOMO element and everyone loves drafting. And it's like, it's a long summer. We have months and months of drafting, and these contests are always going to be available. So kind of knowing your general budget and plotting it out kind of by month, and then really drilling down into what are your goals? Are your goals like Davis? And it's like, I'm playing first or last. I do not care. Are you trying to eke out the best possible ROI, then getting in these single entries? Or
if you want the best possible ROI, do literally anything else. I mean, these are bad ROI investments.
No, I'm saying best possible ROI in Underdog contests. I'm presupposing people are going to draft no matter what, but then finding out where on that spectrum of drafter are you looking for? Because most people, when they look themselves in the mirror, we could say, hey, wait for a $50 3 max or something and save that for your 3 bullets. And they might say $150. I'd rather fire, however many puppies that is, like, I just want to draft. And so I do think being honest with yourself of like what you're trying to get out of it is important.
That's why we always come back to the ROE metric. It's like return on entertainment for every single one of these drafts that you do.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, how much fun are you getting out of it on a night to night basis, just drafting these games?
Correct. Yeah. And I definitely view it more that, and I mean, like, also, like, this is my job. Like, I do content for all this stuff, and I want to have skin in the game. And like, I am good at it. Like, I over an infinite sample, if I could live to be 500 and max all these tournaments forever, I would 100% assume profitability. It's just like, that's just not the way it works. Like, just the way the math breaks down is, even someone who is really good, like, you could literally run, we could have Nelson on, and we could have him run a sim of like the literal greatest best ball drafter of all time. And he could run a sim where over 10 years, the literal greatest drafter in the world would lose money. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it was always like comparing to MTTs, because like I was like cash game
Exactly.
and stuff like that, and I never had any major live MTT success in my life. Like, my net lifetime in 10K events is like minus 350K or something like this. Like, it's awful. But like, if I had any success in those isolated tournaments, like, I was a successful player. But if I'd had success in those, like, it would have changed my life in a way bigger fashion, right?
Like,
and I guess that's what we're all playing for.
Could change your life. It's
Right.
like you get kings over aces one time before you get to the final table, and it goes different. I mean, that's the same thing. I'm sure everyone has a bad beat story. Oh, I finished second in my pod, and my score would have advanced in every other pod but the one that I was in, and then I would have had the highest score in week 17. Like, every single person in this chat has that story, and it's just like, yeah, you just have to keep grinding through the variance.
Amen. That's If last year it was we're all going to lose anyways, we have a more hopeful slogan this year. You just got to keep grinding through the variants. There you go.
That is grinding through the variants is the subtext is you're going to lose anyways, but it does sound much nicer.
Now that's going to be the name of your Substack when you win the puppy. Grinding through the variants.
I don't know. I don't know if a puppy is big enough. Maybe third place in Best Ball Mania. We can launch a Substack. Maybe I'll move the target a little bit.
Did you hear that shady advice?
Model. Yeah.
Third place
model.
Third place in that means you get to join Legendary Upside content team.
Yeah, you don't get your own Substack for third place. You just join up.
Pat will have me doing rankings with Daniel Raz if I finish third.
No, Pat will have you doing a waiver column.
I think he's already got that covered. I don't know if I can apply for that.
Oh my goodness. All right, you guys just ignored my DMs. I tried to get us in the same thing. We had talked about this pre-show, so now I'm in my own golden draft. But let's collectively get in a draft together.
All right.
Well, why don't you just pull that one up, Pete? Pull that one up.
All right.
I just entered as well.
Just enter one, John. If both of you are in it, then that'll be more interesting, and then you and I can draft your team together, John.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
Here we go. We got 8 more spots in here. Davis, are you in this one?
Yes, I am in. I was not paying attention to the DMs. I'm sorry, Peter.
Pete jumped the shark. This is
I didn't.
There's 2 versus 1 here.
I said we're going to talk for about 20 to 25 minutes. Check the DMs. We'll hop in a golden. No one sticks to the plan around here.
Yeah, that's on me. Okay.
All right, Davis, you got the 105. I got the 108.
Well, this will be a perfect opportunity for me to make people mad with the Justin Jefferson take. The people hate Justin Jefferson. I don't understand it.
I just took him at 5 in my golden. What's the issue with Justin Jefferson? Seriously, what is the issue?
I'm taking him over Tyreek and Chase, and everyone says that that's the dumbest possible thing you could do on this earth.
I mean, I think it's dumb from a portfolio perspective, not from like a player take perspective.
Yeah, I don't think I will go. I obviously don't like, it's not like I hate Tyreek and Chase. I think what I'd like to do is have Jefferson at like 10 or 11% and Tyreek and Chase at like 5 or 6%, ideally. But I'm taking Jefferson every time over St. Brown. And don't you guys, is this unpopular?
Well, you're gonna have him at 24% if you get every draft slot at an equal clip and you're drafting him ahead of both of those guys.
What I'm saying is I won't do that globally though, is that I will do some pruning to make sure that I'm not at 0% Tyreek and Chase. I also, in my ranks, I have Bijan and Brees ahead of St. Brown. How do you guys feel about that?
These are the legendary upside ones in here right now. I had the ETR ones in yesterday, and they're kind of like split on that decision. I prefer the running backs to Amon-Ra as well.
Yeah, I've been taking the running backs ahead of Amon-Ra.
It's like a structural thing where these. Oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess I get a Chase team here because someone took Jefferson at 2.
Look at this. You go on your thing and then he goes at 2. This is what I love about stream drafts. So good. You get your contrarian take and then all of a sudden the room forces you to take Chase at 5.
Oh, that's a little tilting, but whatever. No, there we go. There's a Chase team. There's one less thing, one less exposure I have to prune. The room just took care of it for me.
Yeah, trust me. I've learned over the years, if you want to diversify your exposures, just be very public about which players you like and then stream all of your drafts. You will not end up with a hearty clip of them.
I got to ask you guys, though, in a single entry, does your guys' mindset sway at all and just be like, it's get your guy season around here?
Yes, 100%. Because this doesn't matter in the larger context. Like I'm taking Xavier Worthy in the 3rd round here.
I will say, going back to the kind of the schedule thing, this is an awesome one to not have to care about the schedule. I mean, 1 of 6,
yes.
1 of 6, 26. Like you don't need to ratchet up, 3 different game stacks with a bring back, for this one anyways. Like in the puppy, I think that is going to be very helpful for 16 and 17. And I know it's been talked about a lot lately, but I will mention I have the the updated is week 17 All That Matters video in the can. Should be posting that tomorrow at some point. That'll be on the Deposit Kingdom YouTube channel. Had a lot of fun working on that video.
See, this is why you take Bijan Breece, because the best pick here is a wide receiver 100% of the time.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, Olave for me. I think I like Olave over Ayuk right now. So does legendary upside. I mean, you could do the double. You could do the double running back thing. Yeah, fair enough. What do you like, Pete?
Yeah, I've been grabbing Jonathan Taylor here.
All right,
when he falls a couple picks past ADP, but I guess already starting Breece, then it definitely gets a little tricky. But
let's try it. Let's see how it turns out.
Wow, learn Michael Pittman, wide receiver 1, buddy.
There's no rule that you ever have to take Michael Pittman, even when you start 2 running backs. That's the beauty of this game.
Wow, Chase Debo, that's get your guy season for me.
Right.
What do you mean get your guy? You just said Chase is it your guy?
I would have taken Debo. Really, Debo is my guy.
I know that, but Chase, you have a mole on the team. Should have been.
I gotta
Justin
ask
Jefferson.
you guys the Drake London question. I've been asking everyone this week the infamous Drake London question, like just framing how the second round. Wow, that's get your guy season, pushing up Travis Kelce on the corner.
Okay.
There. Yeah.
Wow. Double wow.
Bully the shit out of this room.
I feel bullied.
We are getting beat down. What do you guys just like?
That's got to be terrible, right? I mean, there just is no way that could be a winning strategy.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you take Laporta at the 2-3 turn, like, it's not crazy. Your only bullet. He's not coming back to 4-5. I guess you could say the same about Kelce, but man, I would not want to be making 2 massive reaches ahead of ADP for that. Like, you think about some of the trendy 2-3 turn reaches last year, it ended up being Lamar and Andrews towards the end.
And you were so right to do it, and you got owned. Just the results did not play your way, but you were Jefferson, Lamar, and Andrews ended up like that would have been perfect had they not just all ran. I mean, you want to talk about grinding through the variance? You were right, and you lost.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
It was more that, one of them, I think was it Lamar? Lamar ended up being the bigger reach, but Andrews was closer to ADP. So it's like, it's one thing when you're trying to get that fun combo and that correlation and only having to reach on one pick. It's another when you're bully tight end reaching both. Yeah, John, wide receiver time. You love these wide receivers here. Don't you love Kupp and Devontae?
Yeah, I like this little pocket. I mean, you get a little bit of a DJ Moore fall, but I still think I prefer Kupp and Devontae.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer, Pete?
I'm good with Kupp.
Okay.
I love Cooper Kupp. I mean, talking about it like the literal number 1 overall wide receiver 2 years ago, he plays through a hamstring injury. And I don't know if you can, like, it's for his super elite number 1 wide receiver range of outcomes. Obviously, Puka being there hurts him. But not one person at the end of the day would be truly. It's like what? Kupp is probably plus 180 to outscore Puka this upcoming year, but it's not like it would be an insane upset if Kupp scored more points.
No,
I liked this little nugget from today. Their target shares in the 7 meaningful games they played together, and it being like starkly adjacent to Puka.
I kind of wish we would have gotten like a fun curveball with the Rams and that they would have taken a first round or second round wide receiver and really kind of introduced some more uncertainty here. But it's pretty straightforward, I feel like.
I also disagree with this idea that like Kupp like looked horrible last year. Like, he was just limp. He wasn't the best player on the field, like, but no, come on. He wasn't awful.
No, I agree with you there. We could go.
No, we got to grab a wide receiver.
Feels like
Tank or T. I think because we have we're going to get off to a fast start with Breece and JT. If Tank's a little slow coming back from rehab, we can weather that storm.
Okay, sounds good to me. I think you can look that two lenses there, Pete, where I was kind of like, well, we only have one wide receiver who's low-key ancient in some people's minds. Like maybe we should take the faster of the two starters, but it does make sense that we can mask Tank with points from winning the flex via running back.
Yeah, exactly. And then this will probably end up being like an 8 or a 9 or 10 wide receiver team if we take any other onesies here early.
Yeah, my mind instantly goes to 9, but I wonder if that changes like structurally for you guys when it's like 1 of 6, 26. Like, does that incentivize you to like take more or less risk in terms of like roster construction?
Well, it incentivizes you to take less risk because you just don't have to. You do not have to have the nuts to advance to the final. You probably don't even have probably don't even have to have the nuts to win. But I honestly don't think about that stuff that much. Like,
I think it's a slight lean to the elite onesies, right? Like getting a separator at quarterback or tight end and back-to-back 6-person pods would be real nice. Like I'd love to see a lot of late round 3 QB teams and being like, all right, my Josh Allen, my CJ Stroud can drop 35
versus Drew Lock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. They're really going to give it to me. It's beautiful. I've just got a blistering hot take. Oh, Pacheco just went. I think Pacheco should be like a 2nd-round pick. Who is coming for Isaiah Pacheco's touchdowns?
Hayden agrees with you. Hayden has him 25 spots ahead of ADP in his ranks when we drafted up.
Learn Xavier Worthy in the 5th round, buddy. Thank you, Rachi Rice. This is going to look like a value in a month.
Yeah, I do think. I think I'm like indifferent on Pacheco just in general, but I completely agree he's going to be a riser. He's going to be one of those guys that the projections start to really like, when those get fine-tuned. And he will slowly start to inch up. I don't think he's ever going to get to the 2nd, but I could easily see him being like a late 3rd-round pick.
We can pair Anthony Richardson. We can do the wide receiver thing, or we can do our Kyle Pitts.
I think we still need another wide receiver.
Okay,
Reed or McLaurin. Yeah, and then that also sets us up. Jaden. Yeah.
I would have taken Pitts there.
Yeah, even with the 2 running back start.
Yeah, I'm a slap though.
I just think you can get Pitts in the 6th a decent amount of the time.
I think about it this way: the 18th round wide receivers are better than the 18th round running backs. 17th round wide receivers too. Like like building it from the back, which is like my favorite way to draft. It's easier to backfill those spots, in my opinion.
I agree with you, but we also started with 2 running backs, so we were already pretty behind the 8 ball, and it's easier to backstep or backfill for spike weeks and maybe like some depth, but getting guys who can actually continually, have those spike weeks throughout the season, that's much harder to find after round 6 or 7. Like there's a big cliff here.
Ooh, damn. There's the cliff. Is Kittle right there. Ladd sets up something. That's probably too far. Addison.
Yeah, it looks like we missed out on tight ends. I would be fine with a wide receiver here. Addison or Ladd is fine with me. Probably Addison.
You like Addison more than Ridley?
Yeah.
Okay.
And to Davis's point, another plug here, have a video out on the Deposit Kingdom channel this morning titled How to Reverse Engineer Your Draft. And to Davis's point, I basically outlined my specific targets for like, hey, these are the early targets. These are the guys I want. Went in with that exact draft plan, had some curveballs that came to me. So I had to adjust, but still was able to mostly execute the plan. So you can check out that video on the Deposit Kingdom channel. Kenneth Walker was a nice value there.
Damn, that sucks. All right, whatever.
Yeah. Wow. Kenneth Walker to Aaron Jones.
I hate that. I mean, that's a huge tier break for me. I know I need the chat needs to be corrected on something. I'm not banging the Kadarius Toney drum. Kadarius Toney is round 18 when you get locked out on Worthy in Hollywood. That is the only time to do it. Like I'm not going into drafts being like, oh yeah, round 18.
Gretchen and I had that decision when we took Mahomes on a fall in the 5th. It wrapped around the corner, and we thought we would get one of Marquise Brown or Worthy. They both went on the right-hand side of us in those 6 picks. And then we had the decision 18th round, who do we throw that dart on for Chiefs? And we opted for naked Mahomes in a BBM draft. So I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's interesting to hear you say that you would have taken Tony there. We just punted. We're like,
you have
Tony
to take
flat 0 anyways.
You got to take Tony or Clyde instead of naked Mahomes, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. What about backup tight end and play like Isaiah
you could do
value?
Yeah, you could take Wiley, I think. I mean, what you want to talk about, scroll the F down. What is Jared Wiley going to be drafted in Best Ball Mania 5? Like sub 5% probably?
Yeah, we joked about it a little bit, how it was like maybe when we're feeling a little frisky after he runs like 55% of routes in preseason game 2, we'll do that in August, but it felt a little early now.
I think it's too galaxy brain this early on. Like, you don't even know that guy's going to be the backup tight end. Like,
well, he's not. I think week 1, he's not going to play.
Did you hear the meta though?
He might not play week 17 either, is my point.
Yeah, that's true. He was the insider info is that he was working alongside Mahomes in Dallas in like an off-season camp, and that's why they reached up in the 4th to grab him.
He's from I mean, he went to TCU's. He's been down there, so I would not surprise me if they like knew each other.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Unstacked Burrow feels bad, Pete.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson feels kind of nice.
How about
we could do
honestly?
Watts?
How about Jake Ferguson? I mean, do we want to just get a tight end here to have some upside, or Nuke's fine too to grab another wide receiver?
Okay, let's do the Jake thing. I haven't done Jake yet. I've really been drinking the Kool-Aid of if I don't get the elite tight ends, that mid tier is pushed up too high, so I take it out. But this does give us a chance to get a skinny stack with Dak on the way back here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice
too. I've been doing and I'm just saying, and then you can also grab one of the Dallas running backs.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I know it's a little pricey, but again, this was kind of going back to our thing of like we don't have much upside at the onesies right now. I do think Ferguson could be there.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think this comes together really nice if you get Dak. The other one I was going to suggest was Christian Watson, and then
Christian Watson is the ultimate. My wide receiver room is bad, but I need to convince myself I have some ceiling, so I took Christian Watson or Jameson Williams to make the screenshot look better pick.
He is, because we all trick ourselves that he's still a 3rd rounder from last year when we're looking at that as like my 5th wide receiver.
I mean, there was like a 2-week period in the big board where there was like 20 quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends in a row, and Christian Watson was the only wide receiver in the midst of all of them. Like you knew exactly who was taking him.
Yeah.
Davis, I want to make you feel crummy. I got Aaron Jones at pick 77, a round after you in my golden draft that I'm doing right now.
You know, structurally, and I'm drafting on my ranks, and I have Aaron Jones ranked ahead of Rachaad White. So you gotta do it.
Interesting. You're going to be an anomaly in that one because everything I've looked at so far has White ahead. So, Dak, Pete.
Yeah.
So the Rachaad White thing is like how much of him having a literal every down role was Canales versus him really being that good. They draft Irving, who's like kind of your prototypical hyper productive, non-athletic guy who just like kind of finds his way onto the field. And I actually view White very similar to Kyren Williams, where it's not his skills per se that made him really useful for fantasy. It was his really just availability, just being on the field. Aaron Jones, the exact opposite. He's never available. He's never healthy, but he is super talented, super efficient. So if he runs into 70% of the workload in a given spot, it's massive.
Yeah, I like that take.
Oh, go ahead.
No one commented that I took Rashee Rice. That I didn't. I just took him. What's the worst that can happen? I lose $10. The guy, he was a 2-3 turn pick in the big board.
I wonder how far he would have fallen had you just let it run. Like I haven't done a draft the last day and a half, so I haven't seen it since the newest news.
Yeah, this is my first one since the photographer incident. I guess I can't. I really don't know.
He went 69 in mine, so Davis got him at a nice 77 there.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a contest to do it, right? Where if it like snaps back and there's positive news or whatever, I guess I would not be shocked to see Rashee Rice's prices just continue.
He's going to get cheaper. Yeah, he's 100. Yeah. I mean, he's going to get cheaper and cheaper, but this is a time box contest that'll be done in 5 days or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Pete, what are we looking at here?
I like these wide receivers at the top of the board here.
Okay. I'm good with either of them. I think I prefer Tyler Lockett to set up a backstack.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what happens when you have Leone on the show. The next day you take Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, Herzig jumped into the middle of our draft there because Leone had to dip after like 6 or 7 picks yesterday. And Herzig just jumps right in the chat and he goes, "This is the most ETR shit I ever seen in my life." When it was like all the way through. Just every old wide receiver ever.
Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk.
Nuke.
Yeah.
Nuke. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's gonna be sickening when Will Levis double stack ends up winning Best Ball Mania 5.
People are sleeping on it right now.
They are. Where are you guys at on Hawkinson? Do you guys tell yourself this lie?
I say we grab the Sutton fall here.
Yeah.
Or we can do Jaden. Jaden here is nice too if we want to just lock that up. Let's do Jaden. There are going to be more wide receivers. I know you had your heart set on Geno, but can I interest you in Jaden Daniels instead?
Yeah, I mean, you can interest me in the ceiling of a dude who's going to run a whole bunch. Let's do it. Reverse engineering. Gives us an out at tight end as well, too.
Yep. And an out at the better McCaffrey in the player pool.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
I just wanted to see how that take sounded rolling off my tongue.
Damn. Little McCaffrey, Max McCaffrey is not in the player pool anymore. You hate to see it. So okay. I tell myself this lie about Hawkinson, which is he misses the first 6 weeks of the season, but then he comes back and he is the same guy that was going, 4 or 5 last year or whatever. So you just have to paper over the cracks till he gets back. It is such an obvious lie and probably doesn't even work, but it's a nice comfy binky to tell yourself.
I like Hawk as like you're in those a late 3 tight end build and you are wanting to bank in. Like you can get some reception merchants, right? Like you do Hawkinson, you do Hunter Henry and Tyler Conklin.
Henry. Yep.
And
Hunter,
like,
yeah. Hunter Henry and TJ Hawkinson are made for each other. Yeah, 100%. I also really like JJ McCarthy. I really like JJ McCarthy on elite quarterback teams. So you only take 2. And you just do, Allen and McCaffrey, Hurts and McCaffrey, Mahomes and McCarthy.
Yeah.
He's probably the best late round quarterback. Well, Fields is if you're doing that.
I've honestly been shocked that like McCarthy's ADP like really hasn't budged, but I think he'll be a slow riser. There's just no way he doesn't end up next to Kirk Cousins and Rodgers in drafts.
I would take McCarthy straight up over Aaron Rodgers.
I think people just are really scared of missing the first 4 games of the season where he just rides the pine. And I think that's what's baked into quarterback ADPs right now. Nobody's scared of that with like Jaden Daniels. Nobody's scared of that. Everyone's scared of that with McCarthy and with Drake May.
Yeah. I'm not really. I mean, maybe he doesn't play like week 1 or whatever, but I am familiar with Sam Darnold's game, and I don't like Sam Darnold just plays the same way that that Nick Mullins plays. Like Kevin O'Connell's gonna get so sick of watching that shit so quickly. He's gonna be over it.
But that gets me excited for week 1 of battle royales here, where I can just ape in on that 400-yard ceiling of Nick Mullins 2.0.
Exactly.
Pete, we're gonna have the decision between Dallas running backs if we want to stack it out here.
Yeah. I do think we go with Dallas running back. I've been on Team Dowdle, but normally because Zeke is going much earlier, so I don't mind getting a godforsaken Zeke share right now.
He loves it.
It feels so bad.
I'm bad. I don't have the stomach to click it myself, but it's easier for me to tell you to click it.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do.
I have 100% Dowdle relative to Zeke, but John, grab us that Zeke share right now.
Chat is the chat is talking about Bo Nix, honestly very similar to McCarthy, but with like way worse weapons. But yeah, Bo Nix is a good,
but I do
Bo
like
Nix is a good pick.
Bo Nix is if you are just like so distraught that you can't select Drake May right now because the Patriots want to start Jacoby Brissett for 14 weeks, then Bo Nix is your guy.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. That is true. Let's see. Well, this is a McCarthy team, so I hope no one snipes me.
I'm cooking up a McCarthy team over on my side too. I got a Minnesota onslaught going.
Let's make this.
Go ahead.
Should we add Brandon Cooks to this, or should we take the rookie fun?
Honestly, like in this format, I wanna overstack. Let's just play Dallas, getting us there.
I like it. Davis, I was going to say the one saving grace to you pushing McCarthy is the fact that Jordan Addison is like the other major stack partner, obviously, and we have him, and we got 2 quarterbacks.
So there we go. Yeah, and I have Hawkinson and Aaron Jones, so I hope that I hope enough to do this. Dontavian Wicks, I've been meaning to steal a Just Bombs production video of Dontavian Wicks and edit it. Dontavian Wicks he is my preferred wide receiver 6. I don't have my exposures and stuff looked up, but he's the man.
Dude, I had a BBM draft I did yesterday, and I was so torn. I was at like pick 150, and Wicks had slid past ADP, but I really needed a running back, and Marshawn Lloyd was there, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna click Lloyd. Wicks comes back. He had fallen like 26 picks past ADP. I'm like, what are people doing here? I love Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah,
he was
awesome.
The perfect 1-for-1 replacement for all the time that Christian Watson missed last year. Like they play the position so similarly.
And there's no risk at that ADP. Like you're getting access to an emerging offense, and it's like even if they run it back, what they did last year, more or less, like you're gonna get decent production at that cost. But what if he is the number one? You know, like the what if scenarios give you so much meat on the bone for upside with him.
Yeah,
correct.
A little higher price point, but like I was thinking about what if scenario in terms of like has the pendulum swung too far on Roma Doomsday now? Because I was thinking through the what if of like what I was using the analogy of the Bengals stuff and like people viewing him as like Tyler Boyd with ceiling now, like you know what I mean, like just in terms of contingent upside in that. What if he's just like flat out better than like DJ Moore and Keenan Allen?
And there's got to be like a pretty reasonable chance he's better than 32-year-old Keenan Allen.
Right. And there was like a 0% chance that Tyler Boyd would ever be better than Chase, or at that point in his career ever be better than Chase, right? I just think, I don't know, maybe this is like me being like a UW slappy a little bit, but I was kind of like,
What pick are we at? 150? Will you go to tight end?
I think Freiermuth feels nice.
Well, are we going to keep one in the chamber for Sanat because he's not coming back?
Okay.
And so that's my only thing. This is like, I'm finally paying attention and not letting him go. But we got this big NFC stack going on here with Dallas. Yeah, divisional stack. Let's just lock him up.
Yeah, I like it. He's right at ADP too, like 3 picks different. It's crazy to see his ADP all the way up to 156 now, and Zeke all the way up to 127, 128. Right. That's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. This is like where like closing line value is low-key a mirage at times, because like I don't even feel happy about the Zeke teams that I got, where I got him at like 190 in the first 2 BBMs we did. Like, it's like it's like I guess like we got like 70 picks of CLV, and then it like on the other side of the coin, it's just like, well, fucking Zeke. Like,
right.
I know. Well, it goes back to the thing Corain always says too, of like, once we get to this range, like we know, let's make this pick here.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a pot. We didn't get Freiermuth. We want a little rookie wide receiver upside. What if we grab Roman Wilson here? Or we can grab a rookie running back. I don't mind Vidal or Irving.
I kind of want to do Vidal.
Okay, do it.
Is it Vidal or Vidal?
I was saying Vidal, and then someone told me Vidal. All of the pronunciation merchants are out and about. Even Easy in here. I've gotten this DM. Yeah, it's Ben Sinnott. You got, everyone has to be real careful right now that people are coming after you.
That's how they know if you've done your research on the ball yet or not. But yeah, I think it was Corain who said it's Vidal with an E in the middle.
Vidal.
Yeah.
You know what? Should I be a dick and take Luke McCaffrey?
Oh no, you can. We already got our double.
I won't. I'm gonna take the preloaded partner for. Oh, never mind. Hunter Henry just went. That's so
that was your pick.
Literally right beside you.
You got 1 second.
My app just froze up. Yeah, I was gonna take Hunter Henry. He's the preloaded partner for the aforementioned. Oh, and someone. Oh, I'm so fucking annoyed. Someone took McCarthy too. Unstacked McCarthy. Unstacked McCarthy ahead of ADP. You just love to see it. All right, is this
Jefferson.
Oh, okay, all right, whatever. That's fine.
I think, man. Davis, I think you're so accustomed to having Justin Jefferson at the 105, you forgot that you had Chase instead of Jefferson.
Yeah. You want to talk about getting your reps in? I'm drafting by rote, by memory. Now here's a question. What's better? Drake May, Javon Baker, backdoor, or just take Justin Fields and just say he starts?
In this contest, Justin Fields.
You think so?
I would say, yeah. I don't know, man.
I think that has to be right. Yeah.
Yeah. The weird thing about Justin Fields is obviously like, if he plays and whatever, he turns into like whatever 5th or 6th round type value, even if he plays poorly just because of the rushing upside. But the thing is, like, if you put yourself in like the brain of Arthur Smith, God forbid, like there's a 0% chance he wants Justin Fields to play football for him, right?
Yeah. I mean, can the answer be neither? Like, you don't have to take on that risk right now in this contest.
I already did it. Well, okay. Justin Fields was the quarterback 8 in the big board for like 2 months.
Yeah, so and Kyle Pitts would have been the tight end 1 the past 3 seasons if he played all the time. It's not how this works.
Wait, I love the gal brain of getting CLV on previous ADPs before a single game has been played. Like from a separate contest. It's so good.
Well, that's how you play the game, John.
Is Luke McCaffrey available here, John, or did he go?
No, he's gone. He just went in front of us there.
I love Bucky Irving at this price.
Yeah, and then shut it down at
I think
5
so.
running backs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will also say, like, and I guess I didn't think this through enough. And apologies on the Zeke suggestion. Like, Zeke to me that doesn't necessarily fit the like, this is what complements my double acre RB start kind of guy.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I like Zeke more. You feather him into a 0 RB build where you want some of that immediate production. Like, is he outscoring these 2 guys in week 17 for us? Probably not.
Yeah.
You gotta get to week 17 though.
You got to get there, brother.
You got to get there, brother. Oh, man. I really left myself no outs here at not getting Hunter Henry. I'm pretty annoyed.
Pete, I was just thinking similarly in terms of tight end. Like, I think this is going to be a tight end and 2 wide receivers to close. Is there anyone who jumps out at tight end to you that fits with the Ferguson Sinnott?
Can you go to wide receiver real quick? I feel like we could punt this.
Okay. Douglas, Short King Summer.
I click Hyatt a lot.
All right. I mean, like, I'm fine with it.
Sorry, yeah. Let me see the who's our. So we got both of our quarterbacks already stacked up with their tight ends.
Yeah.
Are there any other tight ends on teams we've selected that are still available?
It was going to be Fant, but I didn't search fast enough. I think Fant might have gone. No, he didn't. If Fant might have been the one to put with Lockett there.
With Lockett, yeah.
And NFC correlation just in terms of, Cowboys and Commanders.
The year is 2027. Noah Fant is 32 years old. His career best finish at tight end is tight end 13. Badge Bros drafters still like him as a tight end 2 in Best Ball Mania 11. Like, this could
entirely fair.
Could really be the year.
It's team follow the money and follow the new scheme and coaching, I guess.
New coach, sinks up there, and the very first thing they did was give Noah Fant a bag.
Yeah, and they got rid of Colby Parkinson and Will Dissly, so and Gerald Everett from 2 years ago.
Sure. Honestly, I wouldn't mind, like, with this room, we drafted Ferguson pretty aggressively, like just taking a really big swing with Likely.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if we're out here drafting Justin Fields in the, 14th round or whatever, I mean, you can't talk me off Isaiah Likely in the 17th.
John told me it was better. John told me it was better than taking Javon Baker, so I just did what he told me to do. This team's not very good, but I got Chiefs players, so single entry, whatever.
Got to get your guys in the.
You got to get your guys in the contest, brother. What do you make the odds? What do you guys handicap Tucker Kraft playing more snaps and scoring more fantasy points than Luke Musgrave in 2024?
Man, I was a Tucker Kraft sloppy at the end of the year. Like, people forget they spent like a 3rd round pick on him, right? Like they spent.
People forget he played more snaps in the playoffs than Luke Musgrave.
Yeah. I think it's like 65-35. I guess my concern. Do you want? I don't mind Likely.
I mean, I love the contingent upside. I'm not sure there's a big player in the sport relative to.
Oh, damn. I took 2 Denver running backs.
Upside.
Not great.
Divisional correlation.
See, Davis, this is how you're doing drafting one team. Imagine if you were drafting 20 of these right now.
Well, I was really the first person in the best ball community to tout handcucking.
Jeez.
I've been doing it I think it makes a shit ton of sense. Like, just like without getting into any of the math, the handcucking for the ping pong stuff, like, makes so much sense to me. And good comment there from MJ. And you want to talk about PPR scams? Jaleel McLaughlin is about to redefine PPR scam. He is gonna make Pierre Thomas blush.
Davis, I'm going to have to break some news to you. He's going to have to redefine half-point PPR scam for your thesis to hold true here.
I mean, Samaje Perine's a legit cut candidate, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be
that role.
It'll be Perine or Estime. So who makes the team? And Estime is a bigger threat to Javonte's snaps than Jaleel's, I think, based on just like body type.
I like it. When did Boyd go? Okay.
So who was the other Broncos running back? Oh, sorry.
We got one last wide receiver to close here. No obvious stacking stuff.
Wow. Let me see a John scroll the F down special.
Okay.
Zay Jones signing with Dallas. Yeah, I saw that post. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how
Zay Jones. Zay Jones is an extremely good scroll the F down, but I'm about to teach John how to really scroll down.
Oh, I'm excited.
I might be the only person in the golden to select this player. I might get 0.0001%.
I can't wait
ownership.
for this. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, this is the good stuff. This is why.
Am I going to even know this player, Davis?
You will know him, but you will not expect him.
Oh, come on. I know. I'm taking Will Dissly in a high stakes draft earlier this year. I'm very well familiar with his game. My God. I love the yin and yang of Davis. Let me just swing for the fences with Justin Fields and then wrap on 4 condoms for the Will Dissly pick in the 18th round.
That's how I honestly, my tight end strategy is extremely condoms based.
Star Kindler says he almost clicked Zay for the vibes. Don't hate my team. Don't love it. I think that's how we all feel.
So this 18th round is such an example of how some people are playing the game the right way and some people are playing the game the wrong way. Like Josh Reynolds, try again next year. Try again in the next golden, buddy. Like what are we doing here?
Pete, do you want your equity stake in the $10 single entry here?
Yeah.
Yes. Pete, Venmo John $5.
No, John and I are going to swap. John, do you want me to label my golden for you? We just swap. I'll show you sure. The other team that I drafted simultaneously here.
There you go. Not bad. 2-5-8-3 with double anchor running back. So just something we don't normally do with that first and second round there.
So I like that. But Zeke on a double anchor running back team is the what does James White do for this team pick?
If I could go back in time and we could flip that to Rico, at least there's a little bit of ceiling with that, especially from the pass catching potential. I mean, Zeke caught passes last year, but I don't know. We kind of rounded it back into form by taking Vidal and Bucky Irving there. We got the corpse of Cooper Kupp, who I love.
Recap the whole team. You got to service the audio listeners. Give them the quarterbacks. Right. Dude, be a host, John. Be a goddamn host.
All right. For the audio listeners, this was Pete and myself's team. We'll get to Davis's in a second. 2-5-8-3. Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Breece Hall, JT, Zeke, Vidal, not Vidal, Bucky Irving, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, F1 Terry, Jordan Addison, Tyler Lockett is on all my fucking teams so far. Brandon Cooks, Jalen Hyatt, Zay Jones becomes a Cowboy, creates a mega stack. Jake Ferguson, Ben Sinnott. There we go. Ben Sinnott, not to be confused with Ben Sinnott. And Isaiah Likely. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one?
I'm just worried about how old that wide receiver room is.
The Zeke pick was a misstep for that specific running back room. Otherwise, I like it. We could maybe see if there was a pick we like more than Brandon Cooks, but I like going all in on Dallas and Washington here. Maybe we should have tried to go out of our way to get Luke McCaffrey for the onslaught, but
where did Luke? If Luke McCaffrey went at 171 on the other side of the board, we would have had to have taken him over Vidal.
Yeah, no, you made the right choice.
Yeah, I think it was fine. And we had already had the double. All right, Davis, recap your team.
I gotta open it back up.
I got you here. If you can read it on your screen.
All right. I did a Chiefs stack, Mahomes and Fields at quarterback, because John told me that taking Justin Fields naked was better than doing Drake May and Javon Baker. I have a wide receiver room with Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Ray Davis, Jaleel McLaughlin. Is Ray Davis the oldest running back of that group? Ray Davis is who's older, Ray Davis or Aaron Jones? One of those guys.
Gus Edwards has to be older. Gus Edwards is like 29.
Gus Edwards is like 29. All right, we have Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Waddle. I probably have some combination of Deebo Waddle with any first round wide receiver. Like that's got to be my most common permutation. The Deebo Samuel ping ponging ceilings just it's the stuff dreams are made of. We take Xavier Worthy ahead of ADP. Of course we do. Rashee Rice, Dontavian Wicks, Roman Wilson. So we got the 2 rookie wide receivers there. And then I did the fake sharp thing of taking TJ Hawkinson to convince myself I have some ceiling at tight end. And then I take Tucker Kraft and end it all with Chargers starting tight end, one Mr. Will Dissly. Not my best team, not my worst. I mean, looking at this now, I should have just taken Bo Nix, actually, with the 2 PPR scam running backs. That would have been the right thing to do.
Davis, you did that. We were talking about the Hawkinson thing. It was in my biggest board draft, one of the $100. I did the Hawkinson Dissly pairing. That was, I think those two, they Dissly gets you those first 6 weeks, and then Hawkinson comes.
TJ Hawkinson coming off of the catastrophic knee injury. Tucker Kraft and Will Dissly is the ultimate Spider-Man pointing tight end room. It's just a bunch of 3 for 37s. Yeah, I mean. This team will not be advancing via the strength of the tight end. I think it's pretty safe to say.
All right, John. For the record, you did land a stack there with the Roman Wilson one.
Fields. There we go. I literally did not even realize. Yeah, Roman Wilson and Justin Fields. It was all intentional. I need to address something. People have been talking about Hayden Hurst. I've just heard this rumored. Hayden Hurst had a concussion so bad last season. He literally forgot who he was. He had temporary amnesia for multiple weeks. He was in an intensive care facility. I don't know if Hayden Hurst is a guy you want to be planning on having on your roster in week 17.
Hayden Hurst has one of the best stories already. If he comes back from that, just to layer on his story, like he's got incredible mental health story. You guys ever heard that one?
No.
He was a professional baseball player in the Pirates organization. He threw smoke, then he got the yips, and he would sit in his room by himself and just drink with the darkness and shit like this. Then he snapped out of it, went to rehab, then went and played 2 years at, I want to say South Carolina or something like that, somewhere around there, got stone sober, and then after 2 years of school gets drafted in the first round ahead of Lamar Jackson.
Pretty insane.
I had not heard that.
I did not know that.
He does a lot of mental health stuff, or he did it at least a foundation with Atlanta, I believe. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I still think Will Dissly's a better pick than him.
It says the guy who took Rashee Rice today. Yeah.
Look, Rashee Rice. It's a what do you win when you win selection. What can you do?
All right, John, if you want to pull mine up, I can show which one you got here.
Oh, yes. Let's do it. There you go.
Okay. All right, John, this is the team that you shadow drafted. I shadow drafted while this was going on. Did a 3-6-7-2 build. After talking about how I prefer the elite onesies, we have Baker Mayfield, JJ McCarthy, and Derek Carr at quarterback. Running backs, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, and Eli Mitchell. Wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Tank Dell, Jordan Addison, Joshua Palmer, and Jalen Polk. Tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and Jawan Johnson. So we have a onslaught with Minnesota, McCarthy, Jones, Jefferson, Addison. We have a Baker skinny with Mike Evans. I almost grabbed the rookie McMillan, but he went. And then we have a double with Derek Carr, Chris Olave, and Jawan Johnson. How do you feel about having 50% equity in this team, John?
I'm pretty excited because, the one thing I would say is that my Bakers always come as Baker doubles. So I was a little disappointed that you weren't able to tack on tight end there or a good UW boy, Jalen McMillan, to make that a double stack. But I approve. I like that team a decent amount.
Yeah, and what was so funny, John, is I was fully prepared to take Chris Godwin here at pick 77, and then Aaron Jones slid all the way there, and I had already started with the Minnesota stuff, so I was like, all right. Then I had McMillan in the queue the entire time, and I was debating I could go running back, wide receiver at the end. Jalen McMillan goes
you got sniped. You got sniped one pick on another UW boy, Cade Otton.
And Cade Otton, yeah. But I was fine to snap pick. Straight up, isn't Jawan Johnson going to score more points than Cade Otton this year?
People forget Jawan Johnson was the tight end 1 in week 17 last year. They do. They have already forgotten that.
Yeah.
Cade Otton had a couple ones in the playoff there. Remember the 11 target game It was the first round of the playoffs there, I think.
Yeah, he was big for advancing your playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Cade Otton, his entire year last year was made from that one game against the Texans.
The one game, yes.
That was all it took, and he was a good pick at his ADP because he had like 35 that game or something absurd.
Yeah.
Oh, what a blessed game.
That's what I'm hoping Tony Pollard is able to do this year. Just one really good game.
So it's going to take 6 goal line touches.
I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I just have the Pavlovian response to being on the clock in the 8th round and seeing Tony Pollard's name there. I'm just like scrambling to click the button. I don't even like my degrees of conviction are so low that he can even play anymore. But it's like, God, Tony Pollard in the 8th round.
Yeah. Have you guys been surprised? Because what's interesting to me is I thought when, people were drafting, God, I'm blanking on him. Who's the second year back or that we all like? Tajay Spears. Sorry. Everyone was drafting Tajay Spears as if they weren't going to sign someone, even though we all knew they were. So Tajay Spears plummets when they sign Pollard. And I assumed like Pollard would start to like move up, hang out in that like 6th, 7th round range. But now Pollard is dropping a ton, but Spears is dropping a ton too. Like I've got Spears at pick.
They're both going down.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me because now we're entering pretty exciting territory. If both of those guys are falling, like it's not going to be hard for them to each beat off each other, beat off that cost. I can't talk. Just that. Just have a fucking day with that.
I was about to say, I was like, yo, we got to timestamp that one right away.
I got to get out of here. I'm talking about the Titans backfield jerking each other off.
Well, the one thing I'd say about the Titans is like collectively as a team since those big board drafts, they've actually gotten a lot better too, right? Because they had the Calvin Ridley signing like a little bit later. Now they got the Tyler Boyd signing. Like maybe they trade and move on, get a little something for Treylon Burks as well. So the team is moving in the right direction.
And they took a lineman. They took a lineman in the draft.
Right. Yeah.
JC Antifa.
Famously. Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's the market just saying we don't really care because we think Will Levis is going to be sub Tannehillian and it'll just nothing is going to matter.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's got a big arm. That's where I leave the light on. That 4-touchdown game where he had the big arm.
That 4-touchdown game cost me a lot of money, realizing retroactively. Yeah.
And is it that kind of a fun, like if the market does have that thesis that like Will Levis is going to suck, then to me, that should be shit. Hopkins and Ridley are probably overpriced. Then don't you want to buy into the running backs? Like that's the cheap way to access touches in that offense. And the market's now not making you pay like anything at all for it.
Yeah, I mean, like that. It's a real Galbrain offense just in general because you can tell yourself the story from both sides, right? Like you can be like, wow, Will Levis a year and a half ago, we've only seen like one. I mean, we've seen like 5 games of football from him now, but like people are talking about him as like QB1 off the board, and now we've just totally written off that range of outcome. Like, no.
Yeah.
What if Pollard? What if the tightrope thing is true and Pollard comes back and he's capital T, capital P, Tony Pollard again? Have you thought about it? I've closed my eyes. I don't want it.
I don't want to think about it. I was gonna clown Leone when he came on the show there, and I just totally forgot to be like, "Yo, you owe me like $25,000 in Tony Pollard investments from last year with your rankings, sir." But I just totally forgot.
He was just following the data, dude. He kept getting the expected points.
Do you know what though, Davis would have helped that thesis out so much? Like, because it was like they signed last year's Tony Pollard, right? In that Tajay Spears is the space back, the change of pace guy. Like if they would have gone out and signed Deontay Foreman, brought him back, let's let the good times roll again. Then it's like, okay, Deontay Foreman's the Derrick Henry and Tony Pollard's the Tony.
No, Pollard's the Zeke. Pollard's the Zeke.
Pollard's the Zeke. They signed the Zeke. So I mean.
People forget
about Tajay Spears cheap though. That's for sure.
People forget over the hill Zeke did score 12 touchdowns his last year in Dallas though. They do forget.
Yeah. I mean, probably much better offense, no? But
so 12 touchdowns from Tony Pollard. Ship it.
Yeah. I mean, the regression has to hit for him and Joe Mixon at some point, right?
You'd think.
You'd think. All right, John, anything else here?
Yeah, we got one more tomorrow. Last show of the week, carrying on with the first 2 weeks of BBM theme. We're going to do Legendary Upside versus ETR rankings debate and just juxtapose those two right now with Justin Herzig and Pat Crane. So it'll be a really fun
I have
episode.
a sense
That's at
of
1
what
p.m.
sort of players are going to be high in one rankings and low in the others. Just a guess.
I mean, we could probably just circle Christian Kirk right now. We could circle Hopkins. We could do those ones for sure.
Leg ups. I actually think leg up and ETR are pretty in line on Kirk.
Yeah,
it's some of the other ones.
Yeah, Mike Evans will be a fun one because I think they're like 10 to 15 spots apart, and that's a front end of board guy. So that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Evans, 2 years ago, second round pick, bombs for everyone except Pat Crane, who, helps him win $2 million. Then he falls all the way to the 6th and 7th round. And now he's back up to the 3rd. Good players apparently stay good. Who would have thought? All right. Appreciate everyone watching. We did simulcast this one today. If you guys are watching on my YouTube channel, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Badge Bros. They've had lots of great shows this week. There was shows with Hayden, with Leone, and of course today, and then the show tomorrow. So check all of those out. Although, John, you have been slacking on the podcast front. That's normally Nez for you.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm not even here to do it. I've never tried before. So I'm
Davis,
sure I
tell
can figure it out.
Tell John how easy it is to upload a podcast.
I mean, even I can do it. So it's gotta be one of the easiest things alive.
Oh yeah.
I will post the audio of this on my In a Vacuum podcast feed though, if you'd like. But yeah, you were forcing me to YouTube, John. So you were doing good. You weren't servicing the audio listeners, so I had to go to YouTube to listen to your show with Leone yesterday.
Oh, well, I appreciate you listening.
Of course. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm going to I have a video out on the Deposit Kingdom channel earlier today, reverse engineering the draft. Very fun team. If you want to check that out, I think it's a good thought exercise to apply in your drafts as well. And then the update to the week 17 is All That Matters video. We have incorporated a bunch of the new math surrounding the payout structure for BBM 5. Is week 16 more important? How I plan to apply it in drafts, all of that good stuff should be dropping tomorrow sometime. So make sure you guys are subscribed over there. Thank you again to Davis. Thank you to Soccer Dave for making this happen. And for John, I'm Pete. This is Off and On the Clock. We'll see you guys next time.